Home prices dropped all over this nation in 2025. Here in Raleigh, our homes appreciated only 1%, and our sellers are kind of freaking out because they're not getting the double-digit appreciation that they've enjoyed year over year since COVID. But here's the thing, this number doesn't tell you the whole story about what's coming in 2026. And honestly, if you're a home buyer, this could be your moment. You know, I've been in real estate for years, and today I'm breaking down what really is going on with the market right now. We're talking rates, inventory, and to help you decide if market conditions are right for you to make your move in North Carolina. Note to self, buying opportunities always close faster than you think they will. So listen carefully. These are the facts. The rate drop everyone's waiting for, and that magic number that most buyers think is 5%. But here's what they're missing about the rate drop that's actually coming. Well, we're hovering right now at that 0.599999 on a 30-year fixed rate. And rates are expected to drop from where we are now to somewhere in the coveted 5% range by late 26. You've got the Federal Reserve easing. Inflation is cooling down. At a 6% mortgage rate, about 27,000 additional households in the Raleigh metro area would qualify for a median-priced home. You know, that's huge. Add in the fact that income growth in Raleigh metro hit 6.3% year over year, while job growth remains strong at 1.3%, and you can see why buyers are starting to have more breathing room. So here's where most people are making a mistake. They're sitting on the sidelines waiting for the rates to hit exactly 5%. And I get it, that sounds like a magic number, but when we talk about pricing, I'll show you exactly why waiting for a drop could cost you more than you could save, and the math might surprise you. Now, when rates drop, everyone rushes in at the same time. Inventory gets absorbed fast, multiple offers come back, and prices climb again. The smart buyers are locking in now while inventory is up around 25% compared to 2024, and the competition is still manageable. And you can always refinance later when your rates drop even more, but you can't go back and buy that perfect home that you missed when somebody else grabbed it while you were waiting. And that brings us to what's actually moving right now. Quick note, if you're weighing whether 2026 is your year to buy or sell in Raleigh, I work with people making those exact decisions every single day. And all of my contact information is in the description, so let's talk about you and what makes you happy. You know, home sales volume will rebound in 2026. And after 3 years of watching this market sit frozen, 2026 is finally bringing movement back. All reliable indicators predict about a 14% surge in home sales nationally in 2026. And after 3 years of the median home price basically sitting flat and stagnant with nobody moving, things are finally shifting back to life. So inventory in Raleigh is up about 25% year over year as of December 25, which is more than double the national increase. And here's what nobody is telling you. We've just barely hit a balanced market of home inventory after 7 long years of an undersupplied market. So life happens. People get new jobs, families grow, and they can't stay frozen forever. So 2026 isn't a crash year, it's a catch-up year. And you're going to see more homes hit the market, which gives buyers actual choices again. But here's the reality. When rates drop further and all those sideline buyers jump back in the market at once, that extra inventory won't last forever. The median home price in Raleigh is now taking about 72 days to sell. That's a market where buyers actually have time to think, negotiate, and make smart decisions. And I don't want that to disappear before you're ready. So what does this mean for actual home prices? Here's the truth about home pricing in our area. In December 2025, Raleigh's median listing price hit about 425, down 5.6% year over year. Here's the context most people miss. Early 26 is showing slight dips in some areas, somewhere in the 0.01% to 0.03% range, depending on the neighborhood and the submarket. Mid-26, we're expecting stabilization in inventory as it gets absorbed and rates drop. Raleigh specifically is forecast to see 3.5% growth, which actually outpaces the national average. This isn't a bubble popping. This is a market exhaling after years of absolute insane undersupply of housing. You know, I've watched buyers get into bidding wars, waive inspections, and pay $50,000 over asking price just to get a house. And that's not normal. What we're seeing now is a return to something that feels a little bit more reasonable. So prices dip slightly when steady growth comes back. But here's the big difference. Buyers can have leverage again. You can negotiate. You can ask for repairs. You can take your time and not feel like you're going to lose out if you sleep on it for one night. So now let's talk about who's actually winning in this new reality, because the market isn't treating everyone the same. The balanced market reality is this isn't one market anymore. It's two completely different worlds depending on where you're looking. So this is the first balanced market since 2019. And after 6 or 7 years of sellers calling every shot, that's a massive shift. Days on the market across Raleigh are sitting at 42 days range right now, up about 15 from where we were. Desirable areas, you're inside the Beltline neighborhoods, places like Five Points, North Hills areas, those are still moving relatively fast. But outlying suburbs in areas like Knightdale and Wendell and even parts of Fuquay Varina, you've got options. You've got room to negotiate, and understanding this split is what protects you from overpaying or pricing your home wrong if you're selling. So here's what people don't get. Walkable Raleigh, where the walk scores are 80 to 90 plus, is still competitive. Young professionals and empty nesters are willing to pay a premium to be close to Glenwood South, the Warehouse District, and downtown Raleigh. If you're looking at suburbs where most homes need a car to get anywhere, you've got a completely different dynamic. You know, location matters more than timing right now. A well-priced home in Cary or Apex with great schools is still getting multiple offers, and a slightly overpriced home in a less desirable pocket is sitting for 60 plus days and eventually taking a price cut. So stick with me to understand the exact playbook for both buyers and sellers in our current market. Now the play here is to know which market you're actually in. If you're targeting the western suburbs like Cary, Apex, or Morrisville, where the median home prices run in high 5s to mid 6s, expect more competition. And if you're looking at Garner, Knightdale, or Wake Forest, where you're in the mid 3s or low 5s, you've got room to work with. The home buying strategy I'll show you is exactly how to use this market split to your advantage, whether you're competing in the hot zones or negotiating in the cooler ones. But first, let me explain why timing matters so much right now. In 2026, smart buyers aren't waiting for the perfect conditions. They're recognizing that the rare combination is happening right now. Here's the setup. Inventory is up 25% or more across the board after Raleigh has had 7 years of undersupply. Add that to the mortgage rates are declining, FHA requirements are a bit lower. Some will say this is the right time to buy a home. The seller dominance that lasted for years is officially over, but just barely. And migration to Raleigh is still incredibly strong. North Carolina ranked 3rd nationally for population growth, adding about 145,000 new residents from July 24 to July 25. Raleigh itself is adding about 66 new residents every single day. So demand isn't disappearing, it's just that supply finally caught up a bit. So here's my thesis. 2026 is the best buyer opportunity since 2020. You've got choice, you've got leverage, and rates are heading in the right direction. But when everyone else realizes this, and when the wait for 5% crowd all decides to move at once, that window closes. And let me tell you about spring 26, because this could be the last time you get this exact combination. You know, historically, spring markets bring the biggest surge in inventory, but it also brings the most competition. So if rates are dropping and inventory is spiking at the same time, you're going to see a flood of buyers who were sitting on the sidelines suddenly jumping back in. And that perfect storm of opportunity doesn't last. So you know, Raleigh was named one of the top 10 housing spots for 2026. And that's not an accident. The job market is strong, with over $7 billion currently invested in new developments across this region. Companies like Biogen are putting in $2 billion in an advanced therapy facility. Novo Nordisk is investing $4.1 billion in drug production in nearby Johnston County. And this isn't a city that's losing momentum. This is a city in the middle of massive growth with a temporary market conditions that favor buyers. So if you're buying, here's exactly what you need to do. My best advice to buyers who want to win in 2026 is to act soon. Here's your playbook. Act in the first quarter of 26 before three things happen. 1, the spring inventory spike brings a surge of competition. 2, rate drops trigger that buyer rush I've been talking about. And 3, the wait for 5% crowd all moves at the same time, and you're back to competing with 10 other offers on every decent home. Your strategy should be this: get pre-approved now at current rates, even if rates are around 6.4 today, and check on a rate buy down opportunity. But if you wait and that perfect home hits the market, you won't have time to scramble. So focus on location over perfection. The best areas are always going to hold value better. A smaller home in Cary or inside the Beltline is going to appreciate more consistently than a bigger home in a less desirable area. And negotiate hard. Sellers are adjusting their expectations. About 14% of listings had price reductions in December of 25, and that's up from the year before. And that tells you that sellers are realizing they can't price like 2021 anymore. So use that to your advantage. You know, I've seen this happen hundreds of times. Someone waits for the perfect moment and the perfect rate and the perfect home, and by the time they're ready, the market has shifted and they've missed out. So I don't want that to happen to you. The smart buyers are the ones who get in before the cranes show up and before everyone else wakes up to the opportunity. And right now is a definite buying moment. Now, if you're on the other side of the transaction, the rules have completely changed. Home sellers who try to price like it's 2021 are learning an expensive lesson. Here's how to avoid joining them. You can't price like it's 2021. Those days of listing high and waiting for somebody to pay whatever you ask are over. The first 10 days your home is on the market are absolutely critical. Your strategy should be this: price correctly from day one. I'm not saying give your home away, but if you want to move, you need to be at or slightly below market value and list with an agent that knows how to generate that early buzz in the early days of your listing where you have stronger negotiating power. Prep the home, but focus on high return investments only. Fresh paint, clean landscaping, minor repairs, those matter. A full kitchen remodel is probably not going to pay off right now. And here's the thing about timing. Spring 26 might be your best window before more inventory floods in. If you're thinking about selling, list in late winter or early spring before the market gets saturated. By June, you're late to the market and could be competing with twice as many homes and the vacation crowd. Understanding this protects you from sitting on the market too long, dropping your price multiple times, racking up a long Google footprint, and ultimately netting less than you would have if you'd have just priced it right from the beginning. So I've been doing this for a long time, and the sellers who listen to the data, who trust the process, and who don't let emotion drive their pricing are the ones who walk away happy. The bottom bottom line is 2026 isn't a crash, it's a strategic reset that rewards prepared buyers and realistic sellers. This window of more inventory choice, leverage, and falling rates won't stay open forever, but it's here now, so don't waste it. If you're ready to move to a home in Raleigh, email me at marti@martihampton.com. I'll walk you through your choices, or just call me at 919-601-7710. I may shock you and answer the phone. So check out my other videos about living in Raleigh so you're armed with all the information you need to make a great decision about our area. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.